Well, I'm on the farm today and thought I'd do a hay update for June 2025. So things have been really busy here on the farm, and the priorities are not cutting the grass and picking up trash. And what we've been working on here is this field here around my white barn with the green roof, and just show you. So I've been working this field down. I had it chiseled, and it. I brought up a lot of sticks and roots and things like that. If you go back far enough in my videos, you'll know that this field, everything you see in here that's brown, was autumn olives, kind of like that over there, except really tall. And I had a guy with a forestry mulcher come in, and he took it down to the dirt, but there's still a lot of debris left behind. It was not something I wanted to, it wasn't something I wanted to roll my hay equipment over. And so I chiseled it up and I just let it sit, and some of that stuff I pulled off the field, and some of it kind of rotted in the ground, or dried up and broke up. And I mean, I still got some stuff to pick up here, like this thing right here. And but I've combed through it, and I spent a great deal of time disking this thing down. First thing I did is I just hit it hard with Roundup, and it's pretty much dead. I mean, you can see just a little bit of green where it's hadn't totally turned brown yet, but I'd say probably 99% of this field, 99.5% of this field is dead as a hammer, from the Roundup and then from the tillage I did. So what I did here in the past week is, after I hit this thing with Roundup, I let it lay for probably 2 weeks, and just got a good kill. And I've been running a disc across it and going this way and then going perpendicular and breaking up the sod where there was sod, and just kind of really working this field down. And then once I did that, my John Deere KBA disc that I brought in here, there's a video on that somewhere back several months ago. As rickety as that thing was, I ran it across most of the field until it came apart, kind of broke apart on me. I'll show you that here in just a little bit. But that finishing disc really did a nice job. And then the disc I've got on, the other disc I've got on my International, I'll show you. I straightened the gangs out on it and did a finishing job on it. And then I ran my little cultipacker across it. And I put in teff grass seed, TEFF, teef. And I sowed this thing in teef grass, and I fertilized it heavy. And it won't be but a few days, I think, and then this field will just have a green hue to it, that teff grass. We got rain on it, and there's some more rain coming, so we've got a nice firm moist seed bed. And my goal is to get really a lot of hay off this field this year, maybe 2 cuts, but certainly 1 big cut on this field. But I'm gonna try to get 2 if I can. So there's an old saying that says, run what you brung. And we're not a row crop farm here, even though we've got a couple of row crop tractors. And around these parts in the mountains of Virginia, you know, a Ford 3000, Massey 135, those kind of tractors, and the implements that go with them is typically what we have here. But this old disc right here, my brother and I put new blades on it several years ago, and when these gangs are turned to their most aggressive setting, it'll cut sod like an offset disc. It's amazing how it does. And I didn't want to put a moldboard plow out here because we just turn up so many rocks. And of course, when I ran my chisel field cultivator, chisel plow, whatever you want to call it, through there a year ago, I pulled up so much stuff, and I didn't want to do that on this round. I wanted to get this field into production, so I elected just to disc it, and this thing did absolutely great. And then I kind of sort of straightened out the gangs when my John Deere disc broke apart to put the finishing touches on the tillage part of it. And then this old Cultipacker here, it's not very wide. A couple of these things are gone, and but it actually did a really good job of kind of packing the surface of the soil to get ready to put the I call it teff grass. I think it might be pronounced teef grass, to put that down. And I ran it on my John Deere, and I ran it on this thing. And I think I'm going to have a pretty good shot at a nice field of really horse quality hay with the rain coming in on it as I planted it, and the fertilizer. I really put some heavy fertilizer on it, probably enough to cause it to lodge. But I want to get as much off of it as I can. And my International did great. Just a little update on it. So the PTO seems to want to not turn off, and I'm kind of looking it over, but I've ordered a kit, and it ought to be here next week. And push comes to shove, this whole PTO unit comes out, and I'll do a rebuild on that. Knock on wood, hopefully that won't be too bad. The other thing I need to deal with on this International is I need to just outfit these couplers with Pioneer. I may rebuild them with Pioneer remotes. Here's an adapter, kind of a go-between adapter. Here's another look at this field around my barn, and you know, it kind of wraps around, and I think it's going to be just a great hay producer. My intent is when I cut hay to go back and forth like this, and that way the sun comes up over there and sets back over that way. But the goal is to be able to take the hay when I'm baling and go back and forth like that down into here, and then the last part would be that down there. And the goal is the drier hay is going to be up here, and as the shadow gets away from that tree line, this will be the last hay that I would bale in this field. Right here's my John Deere KBA disc, and to be such a worn out relic, I basically paid scrap steel price for it, and everything is just loose as a goose and wore out. The tongue on here, you can see how that's wore down real thin. I mean, this disc, whoever's had it, probably over the 60 some, or maybe this thing's 70 years old. Um, I mean, it's seen some acreage, but you know, as a finishing disc, just a lightweight finishing disc, this thing did a terrific job, and it was fast because the disc that I've got on my International, being a 3-point disc, you can't exactly make a U-turn with it without having to pick it up. On this one, the nice thing about it is these gangs pivot with respect to the front gangs, and that's what all this funky looking linkage right here is. And you can just zip around a windrow, and you can just zip around a turn, and the gang's falling, nothing gets all jammed up, and it's fast, and it was actually right effective. And but what happened is this, let's see. You see how that beam goes down into that casting right there? And see how loose that is? Well, there's a pin that holds that in place. It's actually a tapered pin, and it goes right in that hole. Well, on this one, the pin broke. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that piece pulled right out. And when it did, obviously the gangs, you can see that piece right there. When that pulled out, that kind of scuttled my my day with this disc. And for transport, you just back up, and these gangs will become parallel with each other, and they just roll right along. They don't cut. It's not like you're just cutting things up. You can't get out on the road with it, but so this spring right here, there should be a mating bracket. I'm not sure what you call that thing that would bolt in right here. That's gone. But the purpose of this spring, assuming you could adjust it, it's so old and rusty, is to keep the gangs level with respect to each other. And there's a set of springs on the back. So I found another one of these discs that's actually looks like it's in better shape than this one from the pictures I saw. It appears to even still have some green John Deere paint on it. I'm thinking the only green on this disc right here is this stuff growing on it. But I'm gonna pick that disc up one day next week, and this will probably be the parts disc for it. It looks in better shape than this one, but I'm buying it for scrap metal price too. So, but I've read good about these discs, and I've read people don't like them, and part of the reason they don't like them is because I think what they're trying to do is really tear up sod and not smooth out, otherwise plowed ground. But I was pleasantly surprised at how good this disc did, as wore out as it was. I mean, when you look, this is some of the ground that I did with this disc, and it's just really smooth. But anyway, I'm hoping in about a week, maybe a week and a half, that this ground will have a nice green hue to it all the way across. And I may get a cut within 30 days, certainly 45 days, and around the 1st of August. No later than the 1st of August, I ought to be knocking out some teff grass square bales on here. And yeah, really looking forward to that. And then this fall, this will go into Timothy. So if you're keeping up with the channel, you've probably seen that I picked up this Bushwhacker 12-foot flex wing rotary cutter, bush hog, whatever you want to call it. And I have been clipping my east field and my west field. I haven't clipped them here of late, but I'll show you what the end goal was and what I'm seeing that I put this thing to use in order to clean up some of my other fields. So right here is my east field, and what you're looking at here is essentially second cutting hay. But what I've done is I clipped this thing of the stems and the heads. Now, there's some stems that are starting to come through, but basically it's what amounts to second cut hay. And I poured the fertilizer to it, and it's really thickened up, and the grass looks great. And as I'm not ready to cut this, we're going to cut this in probably the 1st of July. And so it's got a few more weeks to grow. If I do anything, I might hit it with a little bit of herbicide and kind of keep the potential weeds under check. But right now the grass is so thick that I'm not really seeing a lot of weeds. On one hand, I think I might ought to spray it, but on the other hand, it doesn't look bad at all. And I really don't want to put another set of tracks, knocking down the hay, which is what would happen. But this grass is really looking good, and there's going to be a lot of it. So let's move on to the west field. To the west field, I thought I'd stop here in this field, east field again, and just kind of give you another look-see at how thick and tall. I'm hoping this will be like knee-high and thick all the way through here, of just second cutting, basically second cutting. I mean, look at this stuff. It's just really looking good. I mean, right here, of course, it always grows better along the road. I guess it can get light, but right here, I mean, right there's my knee, and we've got another, probably 3 weeks before we cut this. So there's plenty of growth potential, but there's something else too that I'll talk about here in a little bit. So this is kind of the top plateau of our west field, and it's been an interesting kind of occurrence in this field. So typically what happens is, as you start losing the field of in our case Timothy to old age, and just Timothy, we're on the southern edge of where you can grow it, so the heat does a number on it. And so what this field has started looking like is, we see a lot of fescue. Fescue takes over everything. I had a video up on the hill, but so when I clipped this field, and I clipped this field 3 times, and I clipped the east field down there 4 times. And what I was after was the seed heads from this sweet vernal grass, and the seed heads from this stuff called velvet grass. Now, I had one haymaker tell me, or farmer tell me, that his cattle eat this stuff just fine, but it's growing in like the plague everywhere. This kind of, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you see this stuff right here. You'll see that all across this field. And I suppose it's okay, but I prefer not to have it. So I clipped, as it would shoot up past the grass, I would clip it, and my 12-foot cutter, I can cut 12 inches off the ground, and so I could clip those heads and leave the grass behind to thicken up. But what I did not expect, and what I didn't realize, was that there's still a lot of Timothy in here, as evidenced by this. And I'm guessing that what I don't know if I can't explain it, because it looked to me like it was pretty much gone, and the field had been overtaken by what appeared to be fescue and a little bit of orchard grass. But as I look across this field, I'm seeing timothy everywhere. So I'm not sure if it was here and I cut too soon for the seed heads. I mean, we're into June here, and part of the problem you got with fescue and orchard grass, it comes in before the timothy does. And so if you wait on the timothy, the fescue and orchard grass turns into brown stems. If you cut with the fescue and orchard grass, you lose the timothy. And this timothy is in bloom, or has just been in bloom. And so I would kind of like to cut this, but I'd like the undergrowth to continue to come on, especially with the rain that we've had and the rains that are coming over the course of this next week. So what will happen is, if I wait, the timothy will turn brown just like the fescue. So the probability is I'll clip this field, and we'll move on down to the lower part of this field, and I'll talk more about it. So down in the lower part of this east field, the bulk of the field, west field, I mean, the bulk of the field, you know, the timothy's coming in here too, and a lot of undergrowth, but you can kind of see this hue across here that is this velvet grass, and I'd kind of like to get that stuff out of here, but I'm almost afraid to. I'm almost thinking 12 inches is too low, because again, this grass right here, it's up to my knees. So I may just let it go like it is. I'm not sure where I'm going to come down on clipping this field, but the thing the big surprise is not just that the timothy came in, but I just didn't expect anything with a stem to come on it. But timothy will put a stem up all year long if you let it, if you leave it alone. And unlike an orchard grass or a fescue, when the stem comes up and you cut it, you know, that's it for the year. But it's an ongoing battle around these parts with fescue growing in your fields. It comes in and it takes over, and but it almost makes you want to kill the field and go with timothy, a really late maturing timothy, where you're out around the 21st of June, where you got a lot of daylight for curing time. You're not trying to cut hay in the middle of May when the temperatures are cooler, the daylight's not quite there, and a lot of heavy dews. And in order to keep your field clean, as you start seeing the fescue come in, and it will, and this sweet vernal grass, the heads, as it starts to pop up, what I'm trying to figure out here is if I can mechanically control that stuff by just clipping it, but not clipping too many times, then maybe I get rid of those stems, and what's left to come in is the timothy. And we're selling horse quality hay off this farm. And if my timing's right, maybe the timothy doesn't care if I clip it 2 or 3 times, because it's not ready to shoot up a stem anyway. And by the time it does, I've already clipped fescue and some of this other stuff, but I've left it high. It's not like I've cut it 3 to 5 inches off the ground. And so then the Timothy says, okay, I'm ready to put up the seed heads. And when the hay customer sees this stuff in the hay, they know they've got something. And so I'm going to be overseeding these fields. I've got some older Timothy. I won't be redoing this field, or the only field I'm redoing this year is one we just looked at around my barn. But I've got some old seed I'm going to dump out on this field and my other fields over the winter, going into the fall, and see if it'll take. But man, I really like what I'm seeing in here. And the more I look at it and talk, the more I'm less likely to give it a clip. But let's go down to our low ground where I cleared those trees out and take a look-see at what that's looking like. Before I do go down there, while I'm thinking about it, and so I don't forget. So the Timothy in this field is Claire Timothy. And it comes in supposedly like 2 weeks ahead of the Timothy I have in the east field when I planted it. I would put Claire Timothy in here, and I'd put Climax Timothy in that other field, with the idea they come in about 2 weeks apart. And so they're not all maturing at the same time by design. And if I get a rain, something happens to one of them, maybe the other one's either got cut and baled, or it's going to get cut and baled, and I don't have all the hay mature at one time, the Timothy, and having to cut it all at one time and then suffer a rain that would mess it up. So I say that to say this is Claire Timothy that's coming in, and these shoots are still coming up. But the Climax Timothy down there, those heads sometimes would come in long after these showed themselves. And I've seen a couple of heads of Timothy down there, and I'm just wondering over the next couple of weeks, because I've turned my back on that field down there before for a couple of weeks, thinking I got nothing in here. And when I came back, the whole field was just like Timothy heads as far as you could see. And it makes me wonder, in a couple of weeks, is that east field down there going to be polluted with these Timothy heads? And if it is, I may clip these fields from now on to rid the fields of the other stuff and let the Timothy flourish. So I'm watching that east field to see if the Timothy comes in. So before I get down into that low ground, and this is the field down here where I had the trees and stumps taken out and smoothed it up. And this was a great Timothy field at one time. If you can't tell from my talking, Timothy is my favorite grass to grow. It's expensive. It's sometimes a headache because it dies off pretty quickly up here, but I just like it. And part of the reason I like it, and the reason I stopped here, is because what we got in here is there's some orchard grass, but a lot of fescue. And I don't cut this tip right in here for hay, but just to give you an example, here's a piece of orchard grass, and here's a that's fescue, but there's some Timothy growing in here. And you see the color difference? And so a lot of fields around here that haven't been cut yet because mechanical breakdown, weather, whatever, they're turning brown like this. And they may have a lot of undergrowth in them, but the fields are the grass is just turning brown, and it gives a really unsightly appearance to the bale, and the horse customers don't like it. And honestly, it looks bad. I don't like it either. But the Timothy is a little more forgiving because not only does it stay greener longer, it comes in later and stays greener longer. You have a lot wider. You have a lot wider window to get the Timothy in as compared to especially fescue. It seems like once it's done, it just starts turning brown like crazy. So down here in this low ground, the grass is going to produce differently depending on where you're at. Out along that edge right there and down along this tree line and out in this part, and then the same thing in the very back, it's going to come in pretty heavy. Over in the center, there's a lot of rocks that are near the surface, and the hay struggles a little bit in there, but with the right fertilization, it still produces really nice. And at one time, this was like, it was just an excellent Timothy field. And you can still see, as I look, there's a fair amount that's still in here. The stems that you see down through there are Timothy. And I'm not saying all the hay in here is Timothy. It's not. But it's encouraging to see, to see that there is still some Timothy in here. I'll mosey on down to that far end and maybe stop where some of the stumps were. And by the way, these fields on this side of the farm, I've sprayed those, and boy, they've really cleaned up nicely. So about halfway down from one end of the field to the other, and there was trees over there, and when we get on down here a little bit, there were trees going across. And if you see my older videos, you can see that it was just a big figure eight zigzagging trying to get around those things. And now that those trees are gone, it's just a nice straight long windrows is what we'll have going out through there without having a bunch of turns. And I first noticed that for real when I was fertilizing this field and running the sprayer, especially because I'd have to manage those booms but again, it'll be around the 1st of July before we cut this, and I have my reasons for that, and one of which is I want as much growth to come in as possible. And again, whatever Timothy you're seeing around here is this is Claire Timothy. Right in here is where one of the stumps was. There were several of them right in here, and I don't know if you can see running down through there is a black and white animal. It's a skunk. I won't get too close. And then right on down there was a stump, and you can just see what a great field this is now that all that stuff's taken out. There was a big stump up there, and along the woods you can see some of the wood piled up and the limbs and the laps. Same thing down there. I didn't take a video of it, but again, if you're new to the channel, you can go back and take a look at that. But right here are a couple of the stumps that were pulled out and sit over here on the edge of the woods. And I don't know if you can see it or not. My brother's kind of got a little trail snake down through here. I'll walk down here just a little bit, and maybe you can see the creek runs along one entire length of this farm. So I'll mosey down here and give you a little shot of it. really nice fishing and just a nice place to hang out down here. Kind of going up that way, and so very fortunate to have such a nice stream on the edge of the property like this. Just another view of this field as it extends back down through that way, and then goes back up to the end over there. So here's another view looking down from the end, but the reason I stopped down on this end of the field is we don't make any hay down in here. It kind of goes down, and it's not that we can't make hay on it, and we'll run a bush hog over it, but it's just the angles getting down in this low place right here and getting out. You know, it's kind of hard on the hay equipment. But the reason I stopped is I want to know what this stuff is. Can anybody in the comments ID this weed or grass or whatever it is? I think I know what it is, but I'd like some confirmation from others, if you could. All right, so this is kind of the last shot here of the video, and you can see where some of these weeds have been taken out. Lamb's quarter with the herbicide, and this is not typical of the whole field. This is just on the end that got caught up in it. But again, it just I really like that Timothy, and I'd like for this field to return to it. This was a great producing Timothy field at one time, and but you can see the growth, and then you can see this you know, this kind of pollution, for lack of a better word, this velvet grass. But anyway, I think we're going to have a lot of hay. It's not going to be like first cutting stemmy bulk hay, but I want quality hay off of this farm. I'm not interested in baling the yellow stuff like down there at the end of the field I showed earlier. And I feel like, again, if you're new to the channel, I retired last August of 2024, at the end of August, and here in 25. So working to bring this farm back to the glory days of making really top quality hay, and kind of expanding our fields as I can handle it. I'm kind of an army of one, as my kids have grown and they got other fish to fry, which is just fine. But boy, I tell you, I really like the color of this field and the other fields and the undergrowth that's coming in. I think I'm going to have some really nice hay if I can figure out how to get it cut and put in a bale without getting all rained on. So or, you know, worse, some equipment breakdown. So I'm gonna leave it right here. Just a hay update video for June 2025. I meant for this to be a short video, but I think it's going to be quite long. But as with my videos I put up, there's no commercials in the middle. I don't allow commercials. You'll get one at the beginning and maybe at the end, or vice versa. But you know, the first goal of this of these videos is to just kind of show friends and family that kind of grew up around this place or that have an interest in it, what was going on, and then the wider YouTube audience. So you won't see commercials in the middle of my videos. Maybe if you go back to the beginning, there might be some, but typically no commercials in the middle of the video. So just so everybody can enjoy the content. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow us along in our hay odyssey as we go, and more videos to come. Hopefully July I'll be lowering the boom on these fields. So again, Hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, and we'll talk to you later.